we always gotta do our segue. So this is my one segue before we get into the TKO story.
Sidebar.
Sidebar. I promise we'll keep this at 2.5 hours. We got a whole hour to talk about the TKO stuff. Real quick, what do you think about this thing going around the NFL that all these players are getting hurt because of the turf? And they're trying to get all the stadiums to go to natural grass, which I agree with.
I ain't going for that. I think it's conditioning. That's me. I'm not going for the whole turf thing. I think it's conditioning.
But there's stats out there that show you these players are getting their knees blown up because of the turf, though.
So who's paying for that?
I mean,
not the city.
No, the team would have to pay for that.
Then take the first left.
I don't know because
right.
Like
I mean, well, not necessarily because a lot of. No, I was gonna say real quick. A lot of the teams don't own their stadiums, like some do, but a lot of teams don't own those stadiums.
So okay, Venkat could appreciate this. Your employees that's making you all this money, making you billions of dollars. The most popular sport in the country. Notice I said the country, not the world. The most popular sport in the country. You're making billions of dollars. You're paying your employees a fraction of what you're making. They're telling you, hey, this turf is no good on my knees. It's blowing out our knees, our body parts. Everybody's getting turf toe. It's shown that teams that play on turf have more injuries. You don't acquiesce and go to natural grass?
Who's paying for it? Not Mexico.
No. The owners have to pay for it. What you mean?
Okay,
not necessarily. That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily.
See, that's what MD said.
A lot of owners don't own these stadiums. A lot do, but some don't. For instance, Lambeau Field. The Packers don't own Lambeau Field.
Yeah, the city.
You know, Lambeau Field is the city of Green Bay owns Lambeau.
Yeah, the fans own that. That's a fan-owned team.
Right. So, with that being said, do you think the fans gonna go for higher PLCs to put some grass in rather than turf?
MD, if you could, let's look. Come on, let's look at this now. The World Series is coming to not the World Series. The World Cup is coming here in 2 years. I think that
right. We got games in Atlanta. There's games all over the country.
But the World Series, keep saying the World Series. The World Cup is going to be here. It's going to be here in a few years. You know, the stadium that they're having it at was a turf stadium, but guess what? The soccer players was like, we ain't playing on that. We don't play on that. We need natural grass. So guess what the owners of the NFL stadium did? They brought in natural grass. So you can't tell me that they're doing this for the World Cup, but their players that's making them millions and billions of dollars is saying, hey, you're messing up my body. You're taking years off my career. Y'all can't meet in the middle somewhere?
I'm not disagreeing. Go ahead, MD.
You talk about the World Cup final game, right? Because I know they having the World. Huh?
They are having the World Cup here. What they just had that Argentina just won, or whoever the hell just won, they are having that in the United States. In like a year.
Well, yeah, I know that, but it's going to be several games. It's going to be several games in a lot of different places.
And all those places.
Okay, well, I don't know what they have in the World Cup.
Are getting grass.
No.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
They really don't value NFL players.
They are. The Raiders. The Raiders. You know they have a field that can go into the ground, right? They have a retractable field, and they could put the grass on.
What they call leave it. I forget what they call it.
So they absolutely are doing it, and you know whenever they play the Super Bowl, you know they have a guy that all he does all year is grow Super Bowl grass, and he charges the NFL $20 million for it. You know that, right? And they fly it in and they put it wherever the damn stadium.
I do know that.
Wait a minute. Why did they go to the turf anyway? What was the reason?
Because it's cheaper. Because
oh my God, it's so.
Because Venkat, look, you don't have to. Okay, I'm gonna bring it right home. I love these sidebars. I'm gonna bring it right home. I haven't had to water my grass in 3 months because it's been raining like crazy here, and my grass has been so plush, and I got a big ass yard front and back. I haven't had to water my grass in 3 months. Well, guess what? We haven't had no rain in a while, so now my grass is starting to need some attention and some maintenance. So now I'm gonna have to start putting some water on it. And that's what the NFL is saying. Like, we got to pay somebody to fertilize. We got to oversee it. We got to do the maintenance on it. The turf is cheaper in the long run because you don't have to do anything to
it. I don't know, man. It just seems like they did something like that without fully thinking about it. So now, not only did they pay for the turf, now they're going to have to potentially pay to get the grass back when they could have just kept the grass and kept it rolling and just kept the expense up. So I don't know. That's an ill-conceived idea. And I was thinking about, sometimes when you try to save money, you end up spending more money than what you originally intended to.
And look what Bones is saying. He's saying, man, change that shit. Too many players getting hurt. Because that's what they're blaming Aaron Rodgers' injury on.
I'm sure. It's just a crazy thing. I just want to know who's paying for it, because I don't feel because the cities are usually held like, hey, if you don't get us a new arena, we're going to this other state or wherever, they move the location.
Thank you.
So I don't like that.
That goes back to my point. A lot of these teams are not.
Who owns the Mercedes? What y'all call them? Mercedes-Benz Superdome?
Mercedes, Arthur Blank owns. Arthur Blank, our owner, owns Mercedes-Benz. He had it built. But I'm saying a lot of teams are not like that.
Just like Hard Rock Stadium is owned, well, you know what? Stephen Ross may not own the whole thing.
A lot of stadiums, the owners don't own the stadium. The city does most of the time.
But think about the bullshit. Think about this though, MD. And I okay, so if the owners don't own the stadium, like what concessions are made when your commodity, there is no NFL if you don't have the NFL players? Like what concessions are made? So who gets, speaking of concessions, because Dolphin Stadium is expensive as hell, man. I went there for the Jet game, and man, the amount of money we spent there. So if the city's getting paid off of the concessions and ticket sales and stuff like that, then they damn sure better put in a new field. They better put in a new field. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I get your point. I get what you're saying. Me personally, I would rather have the turf there because there's a faster. That's just me. That was the whole point of turf going in the first place. Yeah, it is cheaper, but you're not getting defensive linemen running a 4-4 around a tackle on grass. It ain't happening.
Is Ricardo trolling here? It's like, nah, Bones, that don't cut it. Americans are world champions in the NFL.
But that's true.
So
how in America everybody's a world champion? They don't go step a foot outside America, but they decide they're going to be world champions.
But all America cares about is football, though. So wouldn't you, bro? Man, listen, to hell with that. Aaron Rodgers shouldn't have got hurt on the fourth play of the game. That's ridiculous, man. And
the NFL should be doing everything possible to make sure. I mean, it's 2023. This should have already been done. They should have already had tests and studies done about what is going to take the least effect on these players so that they don't get hurt as easily.
So the
fact that this first thing is just being identified is ridiculous.
So what Venkat want is everybody put on the Goodyear Tire Man suit and go play football that way. Bro, this is football, man.
I'm not saying that.
This is football. People get hurt. It's been going on for 100 years now.
No, what I'm saying,
I wouldn't expect the individualists to give a damn about the commodity that he's cheering. I bet you the Georgia Bulldogs players start tearing knees left and right. I bet you'll have a problem then.
I'm gonna feel some type of way. I would say, hey, you need to get your ass in the conditioning room, and this wouldn't happen. You know what I mean?
Nah, hell no.
That's what I'm gonna say.
What I'm saying is they should have already known about this, and they should be able to make these assessments ahead of time before making any big decision like that, changing out the grass. That's a little thing that gives a big price tag. And people got hurt on the way. You shouldn't have to wait for 2, 3, 4, 5 people or more to get hurt to be like, oh, you know what? I think the turf is hurting everybody's knees. Like, come on, man, it's crazy.
But when does it happen? Y'all, I think y'all missing the point. When does a lot of these, the majority of these injuries happen? Within the first 4 weeks of the season. Why? Because they half-assing in training camp and during the preseason.
Man,
players didn't play preseason. Aaron Rodgers did not do anything until week 1.
No, but MD, that point you're making could be right, but still, the turf issue would also help them as well. So why?
Well, if you get on the turf and do something before the game, maybe that will help.
Man, who is this monster that I'm on?
MD is like with an iron fist. He's like Dr. Doom. My God.
Now, if y'all quarterback was worth a damn and he went down to a turf issue, I mean, if y'all was in the middle of a Super Bowl run, okay, let's bring it right home. Matt Ryan in his prime, or hell, the year y'all went to the Super Bowl. If Matt Ryan was MVP season, taking y'all to the Super Bowl, he plants his foot on turf. Man, you'll have a damn fit. I don't want to hear that.
Matt Ryan's too smart to do anything like that. I'm not worried about it. Matt Ryan was only injured one time throughout his whole career because he's smart. He gets out there and does what he got to do before the game. He goes through walkthroughs.
Put that comment from Bones on the thing, and you read that, MD, because I don't know. Man,
I'm not a doc, but I don't think the Achilles tear had anything to do with conditioning. It was way he landed. Go back and watch that. Show me anything that now I'm not disputing. I'm not disputing what happened to his Achilles. It's a complete tear. I get it. You're not going to be able to show me when it happened at any point of that play. What I'm telling you is this: if you have a complete Achilles tear where you're not conditioned to be on the turf that y'all arguing about, and you said just say the hell with training camp, the hell with walkthroughs, the hell with preseason, I'm gonna do this ayahuasca and I'm gonna go out on the field and play, then more likely than not, you're gonna sustain some type of injury.
I don't know, man.
Nobody's bigger than the team. Get your ass out there in preseason and work.
There's a guy on YouTube that I watch, Flemlo Raps.